We are today continuing our ongoing series of campus conversations, trying to keep the Gardner-Webb community connected and glued together, even during this time in which we cannot physically come together on campus. And we've got a great treat today. We don't just have one guest, we don't just have two, but we have three outstanding Gardner-Webb faculty members with us. And what unites these three faculty members today is that they are all the recipients of the inaugural President's Early Career Award. And that's something I'm really proud that we've launched. And these three individuals have certainly set the bar high for everybody who follows. And we just want to take a little time today to get to know them, pick their brains a little bit, find out their secret to success and instruction and mentoring. So joining us today, the cross-section of the disciplines that we have at Gardner-Webb. We start with Dr. Anna Segas, who is Assistant Professor of Religious Studies. She's been at Gardner-Webb since 2015, and we're going to get to know her here in a minute. We've also got Dr. Yvonne Smith, Assistant Professor of Nursing in the Hunt School of Nursing, been at Gardner-Webb since 2016. And last but not least is Dr. Casey Delehanty, Assistant Professor of Political Science in the Department of Social Sciences, joined the faculty of Gardner-Webb in 2016. So we welcome you all. Thank you for taking a little time to join us via Zoom. Hope you're doing well. Anna, if we may, let's start with you. Apparently your students really love you, and they are liberal in the word love. They absolutely enjoy your classes. The data tell us that. And so I guess my first question to you is, what is the secret of your success in the classroom?
I love how the very first question is, why are you so awesome?
Yeah,
Yeah, I get plenty of negative feedback on my SOIs too, but I do get some positive, and I think that part of it is just that I love what I do. I love the students. I love being in the classroom. I love bringing the biblical literature to students. It's something that I'm passionate about. And I also think I'm a lot of fun. So when we're in a classroom together, we have a good time. And I always want to know my students. And so learning their names, like what sports they're involved in. One time, this is pretty interesting. I'm not a huge athletic person. I don't follow sports very much, but I had a lot of football players, and I consistently have a lot of football players. And so I downloaded the NFL app so that for every NFL game, I could get like one little recap, and I could go into the classroom and be like, did you guys see that catch by so-and-so? It was so great.
Brilliant.
And so that was one way that I could connect.
Favorite class to teach?
Okay, so this is one that I get to teach next semester. It's called Women of the Bible. And we get to just look at all of these different amazing women that show up in scripture. And they get kind of overlooked. And so this is it's one of my favorite classes to teach, because we get to get Miriam, Moses' sister. She's one of the first prophets mentioned in scripture. She's amazing. She's a leader. She leads the people in song after they cross the Red Sea. She's awesome. But growing up, I don't remember learning much about her. When I do my quick overview, we don't talk much about Miriam. We do Moses, So I love teaching that class because I like to focus in on these key players that often get overlooked.
Sure. Stuff. So you're also active beyond the classroom, I see, faculty sponsor of Ethics Bowl and the Student Religious Studies Association. Tell us a little bit about those two activities.
So as a junior faculty member, something like that, as the new person on faculty, when things came up in my department, people were like, oh, who wants to take this? And I didn't have a whole lot on my plate. And so I'd be like, well, I'll do it. And so Ethics Bowl came up. And I don't know a ton about ethics, but I read the Bible. And so I was like, I can do that. Yeah, I can do Ethics Bowl. But Ethics Bowl has been amazing. We get a different topic every year. And the last 2 years have been kind of surrounding the environment and environmental ethics. And that's something that I don't know a whole lot about, but it's been really interesting to watch our students develop arguments around these issues. And then we get to go to Raleigh. We get to go to the state capitol. Our students at Gardner-Webb really have risen to the occasion, and they do outstanding work when we go. So that's Ethics Bowl. And the Religious Studies Association is all our majors. And one of the things that they've sponsored in the past has been a debate. We had a debate with 2 faculty members over Calvinism versus Arminianism, or predestination versus not that. And we got so many people there. Folks from the community, everybody likes to debate this topic apparently. And so those have been really neat experiences.
How are you engaged in your personal life with all this professional expertise behind you?
I'm really involved in my church. I love my church. I got ordained as a deacon this past year, and I've always been a teacher, a Bible teacher, but I've never had a position in the church that was ordained before. And so to have my church community come behind me and be like, we see that you can serve in this capacity has been really neat. And I've loved it. I also preach about once a year at my church and other churches that I've been involved in, and I hate that. I hate preaching. I hate that. I hate standing in front of people. And Tracy Jessup makes me preach at Dimensions too, and I hate doing that. But I don't like being up there, but I'm really good at it. And so about once a year, I will preach for my church, and they're always so kind, and and they listen to me talk.
All right. Thanks for letting us get to know you just a little bit better. We're going to come back to you as a group. We're going to answer a few exit questions here together, but let me now turn to Dr. Yvonne Smith, Assistant Professor of Nursing, been with Hunt School since 2016, maintains certification in 3 nursing specialty areas, including psychiatric and mental health nursing, school nursing, and nursing education. She was recognized with the Outstanding Graduate Faculty Award in 2019. And the people who wrote on your behalf, Dr. Smith, also gushed at great length. What's your prediction about, the lasting implication of COVID on whether or not people flock to nursing school? Is this going to mobilize more people to want to be in the healthcare profession, or is it going to spook them?
I feel, and I hope that it will be a real lightning rod for the nursing profession. I think that, and appropriately so, I think the world and our country has seen the enormous impact that nursing has had in flattening the curve of COVID, of rescuing people, and of comforting the dying. I really think that it's going to be an enormous stimulus for the nursing profession.
What led you to the nursing profession?
I really do think that I was one of those people that knew, just it was innate. I'm sure ministers often feel that way, but I just knew. And I also had a high school teacher, my health occupations teacher. She told me, she just affirmed that. She said, because we were talking about what we were going to do, and I was, rattling off, things. She said, no, you need to be a nurse. And she just validated that. I've always been that kind of caretaker individual, but also had that real fascination with science and healing and recovery.
Would you say you feel like you've been called to this profession?
Absolutely. My husband and my family would definitely tell you that. I just can't imagine doing anything else.
Now, you all have been at Gardner-Webb much longer than I have, but I have learned since I've been here that we have a really strong nursing program. What is it about our nursing program that's so distinctive that makes it have such a great reputation?
I'm an alumni of the DNP program at Gardner-Webb, and I have the perspectives of a student and a faculty member. Just incomparable leadership, the integrity, of our deans. It's every moment of every day that we see their integrity, their support of us, how student focused they are, how nurturing they are of faculty, and as people, as professionals, the way they've nurtured me. And I'm not an outlier. That is that is the way that everyone is treated. So I would say that first, just a testament to our leadership. We truly, authentically love each other. The faculty do. We are tight, close, supportive of each other. We can have spirited debate and in a spirit of love. I think students see that, they feel that, and there is a unified dedication to the student experience, program-wide, whether you are at in the ASN program, the ABSN, the undergrad, or the master's or DMP programs.
Well said. So you indicated that leadership has challenged you to broaden yourself. And one of the things that's impressed me about your record is that you maintain this certification or this expertise in 3 nursing specialty areas: psychiatric and mental health nursing, school nursing, and nursing education. Talk to us a little bit about how you gravitate towards those 3 and maintain a high level of expertise in all.
Well, I've been a nurse for a really long time, since 1991. So I have, and I was in direct care until 2016, when I became a faculty member. The majority of that time has been in psychiatric nursing. Mental health is an enormous passion of mine. Then I transitioned to school nursing, and all that preparation that I had in mental health and that expertise was perfectly applied. Worked at a high-risk middle school. Then, when I became a faculty member, I really wanted to improve myself as an educator. So I've worked toward that and achieved certification in that.
Well, thank you for being exceptional, and congratulations on your recognition with this award. We're going to pivot now to Dr. Casey Delehanty, Assistant Professor of Political Science in the Department of Social Sciences. Joined our faculty in 2016. I share with Dr. Delehanty a love for political science, so I'm looking forward to this bit of our interview. Tell us a little bit. I see that you are an expert on a number of things, but one of those things is media violence, viewer perceptions of violence. Talk to us a little bit about that.
This sort of expert on a number of things is really a product of one of the things I really love about Gardner-Webb is that as faculty, we are overwhelmingly judged sort of on the quality of our instruction. Knock-on benefit of that is that I don't feel the same sort of publish or perish pressure that a lot of faculty at other universities do. And as a consequence, I can just sort of jump around to projects that I think are particularly interesting or, relevant in some way, regardless of kind of the turnaround time on that. So the Media Violence Project really looked at the prevalence of torture in popular culture. And essentially we're looking at an odd fact that sort of troubled me for some time is the persistence of, especially Americans' beliefs in the efficacy of torture and the idea that torture can be sort of an effective way of getting the things that you want, despite most experts on the subject and most evidence that we sort of have on it suggesting absolutely the opposite, right? I'm exploring around that idea of, why is it that public opinion generally diverges from what experts will know on the subject? And a kind of kooky way I dove into this was through pop culture and specifically movies. Most sort of excellent research on torture in pop culture is generally focused on the really overt stuff. Zero Dark 30 or 24 or some of those kind of national security oriented shows. But we went through the top 20 movies each year by box office from 2008 to 2017 and coded every single instance of torture within them. And found that torture is actually really, really prevalent in most popular media. About 60% of the movies that we looked through had at least one torture scene in them. And a kids' movies, the title of our paper was actually "Wait, There's Torture in Zootopia," because as it turns out, there is. I take sort of the idealistic view that if we want to conquer these more sort of I don't know, venal or terrible problems in society generally, that starts with understanding, right? And so we have to be willing and ready to sort of look at that and investigate sort of some of the more negative outcomes that we see in order to hopefully prevent or alleviate those in some way.
I'm told that you like to use a lot of simulations in the classroom. Tell me what kinds of things you do.
I think simulations and games map really, really well to political science. As I've often told my students, right, like we have entire fields of study around understanding how one human's brain works, and they haven't even figured it all out. Now, what we do is study the interaction of millions of those brains that we don't understand and how they produce outcomes, right? So we're dealing with this incredibly complex subject matter, and simulations are a really good way to kind of simplify the world that they interact with, to kind of isolate some of the stuff that really want to talk about in that given moment. Kind of liken it to maps, right? Like if a map had everything that exists in the world on it, it'd be incredibly complex and impossible to use, right? But what we do is we take a bunch of stuff off. I don't need state parks. I don't need, gas stations. Take a bunch of stuff off, and then I can kind of isolate the things that are important to get me along on my journey. Simulations tend to do that really, really well. They also give people sort of reference points to think about sort of some of the abstract theory that we tend to talk about in class.
And this is all culminated in your leadership of the Model UN program at Gardner-Webb. So tell us where that is and where you hope to take it.
Certainly. So Model UN, I've been in charge of almost in the entire time I've been here. So essentially it gives students this opportunity to interact professionally with other people their age in a somewhat high stakes manner and really develop a lot of skills of communication and interaction with other people. It's been amazing to see how my students have grown over the course of participation in Model United Nations. I had a particular student who came into Model UN as a freshman and was just so introverted and so sort of in her own head that she had a really, really hard time kind of speaking up or kind of talking to strangers or anything like that. And over the course of a couple semesters in Model UN, she's just become almost effortless in her ability to kind of to hold court with other people and sort of talk eloquently about really interesting and serious issues. And I think Model UN really, really helped her to sort of get to that place.
Great stuff. So we're winding down a little bit on our time here, but I want to throw a common question to all three of you. What 30-second message would you like to send out to your graduating seniors? And let's start with Dr. Segas.
Be good people. I think that's always my hope for my students, not get a job or make a lot of money, but be a good person out there in the world.
Good message. Dr. Smith.
I would echo those things too, but in nursing, I would say to own the charge, own the education that you've received and the elevated level of leadership ability that you now have. Own it and do it.
Nice. Dr. Delehanty.
Really, I'm so proud of them. It's just been really wonderful to see them grow and, become incredible adults. And I look forward so much to seeing what they do. And really, I just sort of hope they keep in touch so I can hear about all the wonderful things they're going to do.
Nice. Well, listen, thank you for joining me this morning. I want to congratulate you again on being exceptional, being representing the best of the faculty here at Gardner-Webb University. Congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay safe, stay well. Take care.